This afternoon I'm working with Chloe on her leash manners. And the very first thing, as you can see, she likes to grab a hold of that leash, which isn't a huge deal, except that some dogs tend to chew the leash and then destroy their leash. She doesn't really have strong enough teeth to do that yet, at least. But we want to kind of deter her from doing that. So by saying look and having her focus on you instead of the leash and basically getting her mind off the leash, then she'll leave it alone. Right now her mind is on looking for crumbs because she knows this is where we train and there might possibly be some crumbs. Ready? Chloe, look at me. Good girl. Good girl. So the first thing is when you go to put a leash on your dog, you want them sitting and calm. Now a lot of times when you come down to put that leash on, come here, sit. They'll kind of bite at you or mess around with your hand or whatever. But what I do is I want them holding still. Good. Wait. And letting me put it on without And then you just correct them. Come here. Sit. Wait. So that they learn to be calm. To get their leash on. Good girl. Okay, ready? Now, the key to walking nicely on leash is you have to keep it nice and loose, nice and relaxed. Because if they feel tension, they counter pull. And then you've got a competition basically going between you pulling and them pulling. And you never want to yank them because that just makes that worse. So you always want to encourage her to go with you. It's all about synchronizing her to you. Yes, good girl. And the heel itself looks like this. I'm going to step back with this foot closest to her. I'm going to lure her with a treat. And this is kind of hard for a small dog to do. Come on. Because she has to go in a little circle. Come on. Let's go. And around like this. Yes. And then sit when she gets all the way around to where I am. The reason we have them sit, so we come around like this and we have them sit, is that anytime you stop, you want your dog to sit. And so if you ingrain that in them and it becomes automatic, then you're at the park, you come up to somebody, you stop to say hi or talk to somebody, and they should automatically sit and stay there. The other thing is if you're about to cross a street, you want to be able to stop at the curb, have them sit instead of going in front of you and potentially being in danger. So the initial heel has that sit in it. Heel. Yes, good girl. And she does it automatically, which is really good. Okay, come here. Ready? Heel. Yes. And the heel comes into play when you're walking along and your dog starts to kind of pull ahead of you and gets overexcited. And if you've done this enough times, then you just say heel and you take a few steps backward and they realign with you and then you keep walking. So that's the purpose of the heel, is basically come to my side and stay with me rather than being out here on their own. I talk about that synchronizing your dog to you. If they are pulling and they're all over the place and you're on your phone or drinking your coffee or whatever, not paying attention, you're not synchronized because you're not communicating and you're not together. Look, Chloe, look. Chloe, look. So I use look a lot during a walk. Yes, to keep my dogs focused on me. Come here. Come on, back here. Heel. Good girl. Come on. Yes. Oh, good girl. And she sat automatically, which is what I'm looking for. Good girl. Okay, ready? Come here. Come here. Come on. I mean, she's pretty little, so going for a walk is going to exert a lot of energy for her. Come here. So she might drag behind a little bit. Up here, look. Yes, good girl. But it's all about keeping her with me. That's a girl. And keeping that leash nice and loose. Yes. Good girl. That was so good. So that's the beginning steps of teaching a dog to heel. We'll later on we'll be going outside and doing heeling on an actual walk, and you'll see how that works. But she did very well. The other thing I want to do today is talk about recall. Getting her to come when she's called. Of course, when she's distracted, it's harder to get her to come. because she's got her mind on something else and we've got to redirect her mind. So I have a 10-foot training leash, and I'm going to let her just kind of wander about, get her mind off of me and the leash, which might be hard because she wants to play with the leash. Want to go play? Oh, here's a toy. Want to go play with the toy? There you go. Now she's distracted by the toy, and I don't want too much space between me and her because she's going to be more successful if she's nice and close. Chloe, Chloe, come. Chloe, come. Chloe, come. Come here, girl. Come. And I want to be excited because I got to get her attention. Chloe, come. Come on, girl. Chloe, look. Chloe, yes, good girl. And as soon as she starts coming toward me, mark it with the yes, because I want her to know that's what I'm looking for when I say come, is I want her to come toward me. Good girl. Took you a second, but we got you. Right, look, there's that toy again. Look, go get it. Chloe, come. Come. You can bring it. Good girl, yes. Good girl. So if you do that in little increments throughout your house first, then she'll really learn that come means, she's supposed to immediately start running toward you. Then you take it outside because you have more distraction outside. And you'll see that in a little bit. We'll practice that later on today. So her come is, it's not immediate. It's coming along. But it's one of the harder things for puppies to do. So, again, the excitement is what's important. Chloe, come, yes! And if you kind of walk backward or do anything to encourage her momentum to get going, then that helps. The other thing you can do is turn and run, and they will chase you. That's a good way to get a dog to come when they're called. Come here, baby. Come. Yes! Good girl. You use the leash mostly outside. I mean, I don't really need it in here. But if they don't come when they're called, you can just do a tiny little tug on that leash to kind of remind them to reconnect with you and then to come. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. And we'll practice that some more later, but that was a good start. There you go. Good job. All right.